Hi everybody, welcome to PaulPrograms. Last time I talked with programmers about best ways to prepare for a game jam in terms of software and hardware. Today, I'm going to talk to you artists out there. So buckle up kids, and also remember, I'm proud of you kiddo. But when it comes to basically getting ready for a game jam, as with programmers, the one thing you want to make sure you have ready and set to go is your computer. That also means have your cables, batteries, chargers, everything you need for using your computer, because that's going to be your main tool. Unless you plan on doing something really unique involving cameras, drawing, cutouts, things like that, then you'll want to include your arts and crafts supplies too, which maybe involves bringing acrylic paint because you want to make an acrylic painting that you turn into a game level. These are the kinds of things you want to plan and consider in advance. If you especially want to do something kind of unique, you want to make sure you have the materials to do that, or at least have them easily available for when you do need them. Also in terms of hardware, again, same thing as before, mouse, keyboard, they're going to be your go-to because you want comfort in a game jam. But for you artists, it's also important to make sure you have your drawing tablet, because a lot of artists prefer working in a medium that uses a pen instead of, I can't reach one, but a mouse basically, just because it'll give you a more fluid drawing action, so on and so forth. And in terms of that, you may also want to have like your tablet glove, as many of you have seen some artists wear when they draw. These are things just to make your life easier. Any wrist rests or things like that will also be useful. But really, it's just making sure you have the tools to get the work done. Also, when thinking about the kind of hardware you want to carry around, also bring USB flash drives. And the reason for that is, say you need to transfer large files, internet may not be reliable wherever your jam site is at times, so having a flash drive or several so you can transfer around big files just by putting it on the flash drive and putting it on someone else's computer will make it so much easier and guarantee you don't run into any weird hiccups along the way. And then for those photographers and videographers out there, if you're planning on recording what's going on during the jam, or you have a plan to use video or pictures in your work, then make sure you have your memory cards, make sure they have space on them so you can actually save pictures. Bring extra batteries, make sure all your batteries are charged, and then you have a charger on deck too, so you can always swap out batteries and charge one while you're using the newly charged battery. So this way you don't have to break up your workflow. And then again, the most important thing is to have a bag to put all this good stuff in. So if you are bringing lots of different supplies and tools, make sure you have a camera bag if you want to keep your camera equipment safe. Make sure you have your art gear in your art tote or one of those plastic art bins that all of us art students know so well, to carry your brushes, supplies, pencils, things like that. A backpack for putting your notebooks and your laptop and your tablet and everything else you'll need. And if you are using, say, a iPad or some other tablet for actually drawing instead of a computer, make sure you have the cables for that and the ability to connect those to a machine and transfer stuff with ease. So these are the things you just want to consider from a physical perspective, artists. Now, let's talk about the kind of software things you have to take into consideration before you get to a jam. All right, artists. So we all have our favorite tools, be it Photoshop, GIMP, Blender. Depending if you're doing 2D or 3D, you may have different requirements. If you're trying to edit video, you may use a video editing software of your choice, be it Premiere or Final Cut Pro if you have the money for that. The point is that whatever software you actually have on your machine, you want to make sure it's up to date. And that means going in a few days before, making sure you have the latest version of Photoshop installed, making sure all your other software like Sketchbook and things like that are up to date. You also want to make sure that your operating system's up to date too, because those updates can be large. And you'll want to make sure you're not losing time in a jam because you have to update your software, and it's time you could be spending on actually working on something and putting things together. So, with that said, in terms of preparation, if there's a certain workflow you have, or you want to work in a very specific size, style, or something that you have in mind in advance, or even different styles, make sure you have templates ready. So some artists prefer having a dump where they can put a lot of their inspiration stuff on. If you know kind of like what a general size is, just have a blank empty file ready, so then all you can do is just copy and paste your images in there without having to worry about getting this all set up in advance. If you know you prefer the work in 100 by 100 pixels for any kind of pixel art you're doing for a game, make sure you have like your template ready, like your base one for creating your individual one. And then if you know you're planning a big old sprite sheet, have like a generic size template so you can just put each sprite in the sheet. So this way it's easier later on and you don't have to kind of figure all that out, resize, or just create a new one. If you have preferred brushes, make sure all your brushes are loaded and ready to go. Make sure you save them in a brush folder if you're working in Photoshop, so this way all you have to do is just go in there and select your brush, start working with it. Alright, so the last thing you're going to want to make sure you do is, if you're planning on using this jam as an opportunity to maybe test out some tools you never used before or have been curious about using, make sure you have those tools installed and up to date as well. I also recommend spending a little bit of time with the tool before the jam so you can just understand how things flow in it, where all your tools are located on screen, and how to access the things you need. So this way you don't have to kind of search around and then spend time looking on forums to figure out, hey, where's this specific pen tool that I'm looking for? Or hey, I saw that I could just invert the sprite with a simple flip, but I can't find where you do that in the menus. So being able to just kind of know where those are in advance helps a lot. And hopefully if it's a tool that a lot of people have used and are there at the jam site, you can always ask them for help too. People at jam sites are usually pretty good for helping, especially getting advice on tools, how to use them, where the best things are for it. So with that said though, hopefully this gets you kind of pumped up and ready to go for any upcoming game jams, but also makes it so you can focus on actually making the content instead of trying to fumble around and figure things out during the jam. And then you could put all your effort to making something really cool and awesome looking. So hopefully this helps you artists out there out. And thanks for watching. If you like this video, want to see more about this, talk about these things, hit those buttons down below. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you all next time when I chat with the designers.